Welcome to Dual Diagnosis Anonymous. My name is Johnny, and I'll be facilitating this meeting. Can we please take a moment of silence followed by the serenity prayer? God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Good morning, everyone, especially my DDA members. I decided to do a breakfast group this morning. I had my cup of coffee. I was just in the mood to do a breakfast group this morning to go ahead and do it and to get it out the way. I also want you all to know that we will be resuming our meetings here soon. I'm just waiting to get word back. I have spoken with my mentor from NAMI, who I was with yesterday at the jail. So y'all just bear with us. We still have to practice the quarantine rules and guidelines, but that's okay. So kind of get your minds and hearts right for that. Prepare yourself for that. Today I want to talk about building up low self-esteem. Low self-esteem is something that I feel everyone has a problem with in certain areas of their life. They might be good in some areas, but there's those areas that we really suck in. And those are areas that we have low self-esteem in. Some people have social anxiety. That's due to low self-esteem. Some people don't feel like where they should be in life based on the decisions that they made in the past. That can affect our low self-esteem. Some people have been verbally abused or have been in an abusive relationship that caused them to have low self-esteem issues. I can't speak for everybody else, but I can speak on my behalf. I know that there are certain areas in my life that I still struggle with low self-esteem. Even though I'm in recovery and I work on myself, when people give me a compliment, I still struggle with that. I feel like, sometimes I feel like people are playing with my emotions, when they tell me that they're proud of me because of my achievements in my recovery, And the way that I receive that is I want to be the one to say I'm proud of you. I know that I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing as far as taking care of myself, but it still don't negate the fact that I still have a problem with my low self-esteem. That's what recovery is all about. Just because you're working on yourself don't mean that things go away. They stick with you for the rest of your life. I used to go to the gym all the time in Dallas, and I wasn't doing it for recognition or anything like that. I was doing it as a stress reliever. And every time I go to work, people would, when they talk to me, they would like to touch me and grab me on the arm, and I didn't understand that. And I called my mom one day and I asked my mom, why do you think these people keep touching on me every time they talk to me? She was like, well, son, don't you go to the gym? I was like, yeah. She said, well, they probably like what they see. I was like, well, I wasn't expecting that, Low self-esteem. A lot of women have low self-esteem. A lot of women are naturally beautiful. But because of their low self-esteem, they feel like they have to wear makeup, and they don't even realize this. A woman is very self-conscious about her hair. Guys, we have low self-esteem too. And sometimes we don't feel like we live up to the expectation of others. They call it inferiority complex. We all have some kind of area in our life that we struggle with. If we're honest with ourselves. Now, if you're not honest with yourself, you probably won't recognize it and you probably won't admit up to it. But if you are brutally honest with yourself, then you're going to have areas in your life that you struggle with low self-esteem. So today I'm going to talk about that. What is low self-esteem? We all have times when we lack confidence and don't feel good about ourselves. But when low self-esteem becomes a long-term problem, it can have a harmful effect on our mental health and our lives. Do you often accept less than you desire and give your power away? Do you feel badly about yourself and hold yourself back? This lack of self-confidence, often called low self-esteem, is evidenced by not believing in yourself, feeling helpless, comparing yourself to others, being self-critical, feeling shameful, feeling inadequate or inferior. I like that feeling shameful part because, when people have low self-esteem or self-confidence, have you ever noticed someone that uh, is not very well at keeping up their house, so they don't like to invite people over? That's another form of low self-esteem. Or if they do invite someone over, the only time they really thoroughly clean is when they know that they got visitors coming. Self-esteem. Along with low self-esteem often comes social isolation, suppressed anger, and passive aggressive behavior, anxiety, and depression. Low self esteem is a result of our earliest experiences where we are often ridiculed, shamed, abused, and or neglected. You may have had good, loving parents who themselves lacked self confidence and didn't know how to help you to feel good about yourself. During our earliest interactions with our caregivers, we began to experience ourselves as lovable or unlovable, worthy or unworthy, and are capable or lacking. These primal messages live in our unconscious and dictate our feelings, beliefs, and actions as adults. Low self esteem can trip you up just when you need your self esteem to be at its best. You know what I like. What I like about being around my sisters is, if they dressing to go somewhere, they like to dress for the occasion. Have you ever noticed how some people might dress, might change repeatedly until they feel confident in what they're wearing? We believe it or not, that's another form of low self-esteem. Here are 7 tips to help you to uh, rebuild your low self-esteem. Number 1, think back when you did something new for the first time. Learning something new is often accompanied by feelings of nervousness, lack of self-belief, and high stress levels, all of which are necessary parts of the learning process. The next time you feel underconfident, remembering this will remind you that it's perfectly normal. You're just learning. Number 2, do something you have been putting off, like writing or calling a friend, cleaning the house, tidying the garden, fixing the car, organizing the bills, making a tasty and healthy meal, anything that involves you making a decision, then following through with it. Number 3, do something that you're good at. Example, how about swimming, running, dancing, cooking, gardening, climbing, painting, writing? If possible, it should be something that holds your attention and requires enough focus to get you into the state of flow where you forget about everything else. You will feel more competent, accomplished, and capable afterwards. Great antidote to low self-esteem. And while you're at it, seriously consider doing something like this at least once a week. People who experience flow regularly seem to be happier and healthier. Number 4, stop thinking about yourself. I know this sounds strange, but low self-esteem is often accompanied by too much focus on yourself. Doing something that absorbs you and holds your attention can quickly make you feel better. Number 5, get relaxed. If you're feeling low, anxious, or lacking in confidence, the first thing to do is to stop thinking and relax properly. Some people do this by exercising, others by involving themselves in something that occupies their mind. However, being able to relax yourself when you want is a fantastic life skill, and so practicing self-hypnosis, meditation, or a physically based relaxation technique such as Tai Chi can be incredibly useful. When you are properly relaxed, your brain is less emotional and your memory for good events works better. Great rescue remedy. Number 6, remember all things you have achieved. This can be difficult at first, but after a while, you will develop a handy mental list of self-esteem boosting memories. And if you're thinking, but I've never achieved anything, I'm not talking about climbing Mount Everest. Things like passing your driving test, despite being nervous, passing exams, despite doubting that you would, playing a team sport, getting fit, even if you let it slip later, saving money for something, trying to help someone, even if it didn't work, and so on. Number 7, remember that you could be wrong. If you're feeling bad about yourself, remember that remember the way you feel affect your thoughts, memories, and behaviors. So when you feel bad, you will only remember the bad times and will tend to be pessimistic about yourself. This is where the tip get seriously relaxed comes in. Once you have tried out a few of these, consider making them a permanent part of your life. For most people, good self-esteem it's not just a happy accident. It's the result of the way we think and the things they do from day to day. Good luck. So these are a few things that you can do to rebuild your low self-esteem. Like I said in the beginning, you could be doing great in some areas, but you might suck in some other areas. I know for a long time when I first got in recovery, I was comparing my recovery to other people. I was looking at how successful they were, and I was looking at how successful I was, and it would kind of be depressing, and I was like, I ain't going to be able to do this. And it became very overwhelming. But as I pressed on and I kept working the program, I look back now over everything that I've accomplished, and I can pat my own self on the back and be like, you know what? I did this. I look at my years of sobriety, and I can pat myself on the back because I've earned that. And you can't nobody take that away from me. You might be able to take my materialistic things away from me, but you can't take away my sobriety. You can't take away my recovery. And that's something that I'm grateful for. So if you're like me and you're honest with yourself and you know that there's areas in your life that you still struggle with your self-esteem, these are just a few things that you can do to help you along the way. Like I said, it's not going to go away. You can cover it up all you want, but the problem is going to still be there. And take it from someone that knows that's truly working on themselves, mind, body, and spirit. I work on all three of those areas faithfully because I know that those are things that keeps me balanced. And I'm glad I'm not perfect. And I don't have to pretend to be perfect. Now, I don't mind telling people I'm just as messed up as everybody else. I just work on myself. That's all. That's the only thing that's different. That's the only thing that sets me apart from everybody else is I work on myself. And then I share what I do with other people freely because that's what my Father will want me to do. That's His purpose for my life. And I understand that clearly. The low self-esteem is a part of who we are. And sometimes you can have high self-esteem. I'm in recovery for both of them. I was verbally abused. That's why I don't curse, because I don't believe that I don't want to be like my perpetrator. I don't want to be like the people that abused me. So I don't do what they did. And then when I got into recovery and started working on myself, it felt so good that I developed high self-esteem. Just like Nas, couldn't nobody tell me nothing. I let people put me on a pedestal. I was self-confident. I didn't, if you wasn't doing what I was doing, I wouldn't fool with you. I was very judgmental. But see, I understand that balance is important. And if you do too much of anything, it turns out to be bad for you. When I got into recovery and I started getting better, I started drinking a lot of coffee. Well, not really coffee, but I was drinking more cream and sugar than coffee, and I wound up having to be borderline diabetic. Coffee's not bad for you. Sugar's not bad for you. But if you do too much of it, it will mess you up. Just like anything else. Anything that you do too much of turns bad. So when you start thinking highly of yourself, sometimes you can think too highly of yourself. And it can cause you to walk with your nose up in the air. They call that high self-esteem. And that's just as bad as having low self-esteem. And nobody even want to be around you. See, a person with low self-esteem, they be depressed all the time. They don't feel like they can do certain stuff. You ask them to do something, they don't feel like they can do it because they lack the self confidence, and it makes people not depend on you, on them. To be able to trust someone, you have to be able to depend on them. People that's codependent lack self esteem in themselves. They don't believe in themselves, and it affects their self esteem. So I want to thank you all for tuning in today. Um, I hope that you have a wonderful weekend and a blessed week. And I kind of took some time off for myself this week because of the rain, and just stuck to my main job, because I understand that self-care is important, and I need to keep that in mind at my forefront, and maintain that balance all the time, because you can, like I said, you do too much of anything, it turns bad, and you can work yourself too much and cause yourself to have a meltdown. And I've done that before, so I learned from my mistakes. So as we get ready to close, we like to close out in our usual way with just for today. Just for today, I will focus on my DDA recovery program of the 12 steps plus 5. Just for today, I will remain clean and sober, and if I'm taking medications, I will do so as prescribed. Just for today, I will keep an open mind and be willing to listen to the advice of my DDA supporter group, my prescriber, and my clinician. Just for today, I will allow myself to have faith in someone in the DDA program who has faith in me and my recovery. Just for today, I will have a program. I recognize that I may make mistakes along the way, but I will follow the DDA program to the best of my ability. Just for today, I will utilize the DDA program of shared experiences, strengths, solidarity, and hope in order to gain a better perspective on my life. Just for today, I will not dwell on the past nor place undue concern on the future. Just for today, I would not grant fear or worry space in my thoughts. By choosing to live one day at a time, and by following the principles of DDA, I need not be afraid. Just for today, I would see how working an honest program is helping others and allow the blessings of my higher power to flow throughout my life. Just for today, I will allow myself to be me. I will accept myself for whom I am and where I am. I will allow others the same courtesy, that they may be free to grow and that I may be freed from the burden of resentment. Just for today, I will live and let live. If I become unable to do this, then I will place trust in my higher power and remind myself to just let go and let God. Just for today, I will live life on life's terms. And by doing so, I will recognize when I need support for symptoms of my dual diagnosis or when I'm in danger of relapse. I will seek help from the fellowship of DDA, my higher power, my prescriber, and my clinician. Just for today. Again, if you find yourself having areas in your life that you're still struggling, play this video back. Play it back. Look at the tips that was given and start applying them to your life. The thing about the video is you can stop it and you can pause it and you can take notes at your time and at your leisure. That way you're not going to miss anything. I know one of my members, he does that. He stops, he listens, he rewinds it. He does that so that he don't miss anything. So I want to again thank you for tuning in. This is something that I needed to talk about. Everything that I talk about is the things that not only I struggle with, but that I've overcame. And so I like to be able to share the solution to people's problems. Because remember, it's not about the problem. It's all about the solution. How do you deal with your low self-esteem? Can you be honest enough with yourself to look at the areas that you still struggle? Because again, nobody's perfect. There was only one perfect person that hit this earth that I know of and that I've read about. And nobody can compare to that person. He's my rock. He's my everything. He keeps me whole. He keeps me complete. And And I ain't trying to put my belief on nobody, but that's just what I believe and that's what I know. That's my truth. And I'm just being honest. Because I know I struggle in a lot of areas, but at the same time, I know that honesty is the best policy. The truth is what sets us free, not lies. And we can lie to ourselves just like we can lie to anybody. So quit lying and get honest with yourself. So as I close, today I would like to close out with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you for tuning in. Please if you haven't, please hit the subscribe button so that you can keep getting notified of these messages, and you won't miss anything. God bless you. Have a blessed week.